For this assignment, I reviewed the vocational rehab website, which is a really comprehensive page put out by the state of Oregon. And I have a lot of really good impressions of this web page because, like I said, it's put out by the state, but it also has a lot of resources like it has a whole section that's for clients, so someone who's looking for a job, but it also has a lot of section for businesses. So if they are looking for people that they want to hire, there's a whole section for them with multiple links. And then also for vocational rehab partners, so they might want to learn about working with people who are accessing vocational rehab. And Voc Rehab is essentially for workers and people looking for workers who have a disability. And that disability could be mental, it could be physical. And then businesses are looking for help. There's help for them on this website. They can get help with recruitment. They can get help from this website about how to train new employees, how to help credential employees in programs. So there's just a really comprehensive homepage with on the side there's all kinds of ways that you can contact them, ways that you can find out information, ways that you can make complaints or resolve problems. There are forms that you need to fill out if you are a person looking for a job or if you are a business looking for an employee. They have advisory groups, they have community engagement forums. So this is like a very professional, very well-considered website. Lots and lots of resources. In Oregon, there's something called 211.org, which is a very extensive and extensively researched storehouse of information for people, like where they can apply for SNAP benefits, where they can apply for Medicaid and Medicare, where they can access all kinds of community resources. And also just where they can stay informed of, like, if they need assistance paying their light bill or their water bill. 211 gives you all of the websites, or excuse me, all of the nonprofits in the county that help with various demographics like homelessness, hunger, job seeking. So just that they have a help center and a 211.org link is really important. They also provide language access for at least 25 languages past English, some of which I don't even recognize because they're either in another language with other characters outside of the English alphabet, or an Asian language whose characters I don't recognize. But I think that's really good for the average Oregonian looking at this website, that they can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 30 different languages that you can access this same website in that language. So this is really good. Another useful resource is that you can access aging and disability services, which is a really wonderful resource here in Oregon. So if someone has matriculated out of, like, maybe they're over 65 but they still have to work, or maybe they have had a medical event such as a heart attack or a stroke that took them out of the workforce for a while, and they need new training to get into the workforce, either in their same job or line of work or into a different job or line of work. That's a really wonderful resource. So I think that the necessary skills to develop this web page would be that you would have had to have spent years in workforce development. You couldn't just come in hot and like create this website. You would have to have years of helping people design resumes, or go into like training such as how do you interview for a job? How do you, shake hands, make eye contact, don't drink your soda, don't look at your cell phone. Like, you really need to know the ins and outs of how to get a job, how to keep a job, what are the actual skills. And some of the things that are also really important for someone designing this website are all the pathways that they send you down. So like, vocational rehab is not just for people who are looking for another job. It's for someone who may be a youth, like 14 to 24 years old, and it's maybe their first job. What is a 14-year-old capable of doing? Can they work in a restaurant? Can they get a babysitting certificate? Do they need CPR? All of this information is on this website. Also, maybe it's a veteran, so this takes you to a link for the Veterans Administration. Or maybe this is a person who's been formerly incarcerated, tells you how to access jobs and how to get some training once you have a felony on your record or more. There's also links to tribal information. So if you're a person who has Native American blood, or First Nation, if you're a First Nation person, I think that's a synonym. So it has really extensive resources for people. It can also tell people how to find internships, such as, a child or a young person, sorry, not a child, but an 18-year-old coming out looking for an internship, or someone coming out of an alternative high school where they didn't graduate from a typical high school and then they're matriculating out into the workforce. There's also a lot of people who are not interested in going from high school to university or community college, but they're just looking about going right into the workforce. And this website for Voc Rehab can help all those people. They pre-screen applicants here on the Voc Rehab page for businesses. And from what I can tell from my research, there's a lot of people with a lower socioeconomic status who can access this, or people who fit into that buzzword of DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it's really just to have a diverse workforce. And it's not just like your typical person. So it could be people new to the workforce, or like I said, changing their jobs because of all kinds of reasons. But for me as a counselor, it could be really good if I have somebody who's been in a job for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years, and they're looking to change their work life, perhaps due to dissatisfaction or disability, or wanting to just change because people don't tend to stay in careers for a long time anymore, or some people don't. This would be a website that I would absolutely go and look up when I was trying to help my client or clients get some resources and career development. Let's see, there's something on here that I was interested to learn about called Inclusive Career Advancement Program. And they told a real life story of a guy named Logan who didn't know what he wanted to do, but through his training and through the website, he found out that he could become a diesel mechanic. And he didn't know what his options were. So this is a really extensive website that I found really good, put out by the Oregon Department of Human Services.